Welcome to the Evans Effect, where education matters and leadership makes an impact. Greetings. I'm Maurice Evans, owner and CEO of Elite School Management and Chief Administrative Officer of the Service Learning District. I'm proud to announce that we are the largest pre-K through 8th grade charter school district in the state of Michigan. I am thrilled to welcome my very special guests, two of the most favorite people in education, and I've had the pleasure of really being with Dr. Derek Coleman and also Dr. Davida Colbert. Welcome to the Evans Effect.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
You know, this is very exciting for me because I have had the opportunity to do a few shows now and interview a few of my favorite guests. But when it comes to education, you are the two that I call my mentors and my heroes in this space that we call education. I would like to give each of you just, a couple minutes to kind of tell us who you are and what you do. So we'll start off with ladies first, if you don't mind, Dr. Coleman, and let Dr. Colbert go ahead.
Awesome. Again, thank you for having me. It is truly an honor to sit between two giants. CEO Evans, I've had the pleasure of enjoying you over the last several years with your journey and continuing to elevate education with the service learning academies, with the Elite brand, and also just honored to have entered the space this evening with Dr. Derek Coleman, who I have been on this journey with for more than 25 years. Wow. So it has been an outstanding run alongside a man of honor. Truly, I'm humbled to be in the space 32 years in this amazing arena of education. Honestly, just honored to serve on my second stint as superintendent, currently serving as the Wayne Regional Educational Service Agency superintendent. Having been here since 2019, serving as the associate superintendent for 2 years, and then taking on the superintendency as of July 1, 2021. Having entered the space coming from Oak Park School District, served there 9 amazing years, yes, from 2010 to 2019, and honestly had the opportunity to lead in excellence, bringing about arts, academics, accountability, and attitude, and ensuring that those 5 A's really led that brand back really through a recovery phase, walking into $8 million in deficit. The enrollment at that time was 3,100, and there was definitely a need for hope to drive us, push us, and move us. And what I will say is Oak Park is a community that embraced me living there as a resident and having the opportunity to lead the district through transition and coming out on the best side of it, 14 million to the good, leaving there with more than 5,000 students at that time. No schools on any list, meaning needing improvement, but yet needing improvement, but not on lists, identifying them as such. And honestly, students who had embraced being a part of a family, if you have that historically black college kind of vision, you know what it really means to see a marching band, so having students feeling good about being in those spaces, but also understanding why education was so important and embracing that in the moment. So those 9 years really paved the way for me to be where I am now. But even before that, having served in Detroit Public Schools, starting out my career there in '93 on a staycation. I was a substitute teacher that went there. I was serving as an accountant at Tank Automotive Command. And during a week, my sorority sister and I decided we weren't going out of town. We would go ahead and serve and give community, grace, and go and give 1 week to Detroit Public Schools. And that 1 week turned into me going back to work and then turning that into a lifetime. So just honored to have served as a teacher in Detroit Public Schools, then an athletic director, assistant principal, then traveling over to Clawson as their first hire as an African-American individual who came in as the high school principal, did that for 6 years, went on to Detroit for a couple years as assistant superintendent under a regime of a board and a superintendent, watching that transition into emergency manager, and then, like I said, transitioning over to Oak Park. So the journey has been awesome, and I'm glad to still be able to serve in this space.
Wow, I tell you, it's just so impressive to kind of know the background that actually that you traveled to get where you are, and I'm very impressed and very proud to be a part of your mentor, one of your mentees, you know, as we kind of move forward. Now, Dr. Coleman, you know, please give us your impressive resume also, sir.
All right, thank you. Before I do that, I just can attest to her residency in Oak Park because there were many days her and her mother had me over there moving furniture and planting flowers and whatnot.
Right, right.
I can attest to it. And as she spoke to, our careers have paralleled each other, you know,
Okay.
to a degree.
Right.
I am the current superintendent of the River Rouge School District. When I arrived in the district, there were approximately 900 students and a $3.4 million deficit.
Wow.
We're at about 3,200 students now. I service 38 different zip codes.
Okay.
And the work that we've been able to do around reversing migration patterns, enrollment patterns, and just creating a sense of pride for that community. I love that work. We adopted a trauma-sensitive framework, assuming that all children, whether known or unknown, have experienced some form of trauma. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, we had to focus on the educators because you can't have healthy children without having healthy adults.
That's so true.
I've been in that space now 14 years, and it's amazing how time flies. Prior to that, Dr. Colbert and I was an assistant superintendent, a regional superintendent, and as she stated earlier, the titles always fluctuated, but we were responsible for a portfolio of schools. I'll speak for both her and I. We were 35 years old when we were named assistant superintendents in Detroit Public Schools.
Wow.
We served under the last hired superintendent, and then we worked under the emergency management framework.
Okay.
What she didn't mention, and I think it's important, that when the emergency manager's transition team came in, they replaced 90% of central office, but she and I both were retained.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yep. So I served there 4 years. Prior to that, I was the principal at Lincoln High School in Ypsilanti Township for 2. I was the principal of Pontiac Central High School in Pontiac for 4 years.
Okay.
Where Dr. Colbert and I were the youngest high school principals in Oakland County during that time. I spent several years in River Rouge as a teacher and an administrator and began my career in Detroit Public Schools as well. So while I love the work that I do in River Rouge, I love the work that I did in Pontiac, the work that I did in Ypsilanti. I stand on all of those districts, but I'm also an ambassador for the city of Detroit. And what I want is to have created a system that supported all children. And, you know, I represent the free lunch kids, and so we didn't have it easy. So if you can create a district that addresses the needs of that population, in that spirit, you'll also be able to serve everyone else. So it's an honor to be here. I'm grateful that you chose me to come on a day where I can be with this giant in education, the work
Right.
that you're doing, so thank you.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, you know, it's very important that we allow our community to see who's in education and who's supporting the growth of their young people. I just believe that it's a very big deal that our young men and women know, and also the parents of these young men and women know who's out here, you know, supporting that. But let's kind of, you know, move on a little bit, because, you know, one of the things that I try to really make sure that my audience understand is the importance of education, you know, and how education truly impacts, you know, the day-to-day living of what we all do. You know, we all learn on a day-to-day basis. That's, as I tell people all the time, that's education, you know, and we don't title it in that way because we go to work and we do what we need to do. But in that process, I'm quite sure both of you learn as you kind of step forward. Can you kind of just share maybe an example or two of what you've learned, even on like this week or last week, that has made you a better superintendent over what you do?
So I would just say that what I say every day and have said for 54 years, honestly, and because I heard it said to me, so it became repetitive, is education is the tool in which you can use to change the world, Nelson Mandela. And I remember my mother repeating that in a variety of ways, not maybe saying every single word that way,
Right.
but it was always that education is the key that unlocks doors. And I remember that as a little girl. Education is the key to unlock the door. What I stand on today is education remains the key
Right.
to unlock doors. And I use that even in this role. Education remains the key to
That's so
unlock
true.
doors.
Dr. Coleman?
Yes. I'm a firm believer, one, that children rarely become what they have not seen.
Wow.
And as I mentioned earlier, I'm a free lunch kid. I'm from West Grand Boulevard and Warren in Detroit. And so I grew up with the sons and daughters of heroin addicts. And what I understood was that the educators, your zip code represents a data set. And they knew that the children that were coming from that zip code that I came from lacked, whether it be financial resources, support at home. And the school was the only place that we all would be able to go to that gave us an opportunity.
Right.
And so for me, I endeavor daily to be I am the physical embodiment of a free public education and what it can become if you take advantage of it. So if I'm the physical embodiment of that, I can then help my students understand that all things are possible. Their parents see themselves in me. And so I represent the gamut of that entire range of my student population, whether you're upper middle class or a free lunch student.
Right.
I've lived that experience. And so I am tasked, and I've been given the privilege to go in every day and motivate a staff to love other people's children, even when it may not be easy.
That's true.
And so education for me was a vehicle out of poverty. And so I want to make certain that every child that leaves my district is educated. They'll leave enrolled in someone's university. They're employed, because all children may not matriculate to higher education, but they should leave college ready.
Right.
They'll be entrepreneurs, they'll be employed, but more importantly, they'll be enlightened. And so that's what education gives us the opportunity to do, to find the most appropriate path for every child that walks through our doors.
And what you would get between the two of us is access and opportunity, because that matters.
Right.
And access and opportunity allows for us to mitigate and stop generational poverty.
That is so true. You know, we all are in a very different environment, but it's still the same environment. And that's the whole thing that I try to share with everyone, is that you have to be very understanding of the people that you're servicing in order to make sure that they're learning, you know, to the top tier of education. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue to kind of talk about, you know, some of the things that really, you know, elevated you guys and the people that you represent and also manage all the time to go forward. We'll be right back.
All right.
All right.
That's a segment in itself.
Yeah.
Who we are.
Right.
The introduction is a segment in itself, because that's a story.
That is, and I'm gonna tell you, the thing that's so impressive though is that you both kept in contact during the time of your journey, you know, and I don't think that a lot of people know this about us as African Americans as we continue to try to grow and make it better. You know, we all have one thing in common, and that is to make sure that education is being delivered, you know, at a level where everyone can be successful. And, you know, and to have, you know, all of us to be able to know each other, to know one another, and I mean on a personal level. You know, like what you said about, you know, her having you over to plant flowers and move furniture. You know, a lot of times people think that it's just through, you know, a conference or, you know, through a meeting or something like that. But it's good to know each other, you know, beyond that.
Absolutely.
And that's a true story.
That is very true.
Right. Yeah. What did
We're
you?
getting ready for my family to come. I'm like, we need some help.
Where did you go to high school at?
Redford.
You went to
Detroit
Redford?
High School.
Really? That's where my wife
Graduated from
went.
Redford. Absolutely.
Yeah, my wife.
Class of '88.
Yeah, well, she was a little before then, but yeah.
She got double promoted though.
Yeah,
Did she?
twice.
Was Dr. Green the principal? over there?
No, he would not be. I'm not that. No, I was still running the Alumni Association, though, when he was the actual principal. I ran the Alumni Association and took care of all the athletes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Cooley High.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, that's where.
School with the movie, famous old school movie, right?
Man, I tell you, only if it was here in Michigan.
Right.
You know.
That's right.
Yeah. So what we'll do is, just kind of, continue to kind of talk about, how education is impacting, kids of today. But also, I would like to kind of have a little more in-depth conversation about getting more people to come in and be educators. Because as you know, in college, you don't have many people going for that educational background, and I know that a lot has to do with the financial portion of it. But
There are many opportunities out here. I can speak to that. We
Yeah.
can all speak to
Right,
that.
yeah. So that's what I like to kind of speak to, so they'll know, that there's opportunities to come in and give back.
All right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's all set? All right, and action.
Welcome back. I'm here with Dr. Davida Colbert and also Dr. Derek Coleman, Superintendent of Wayne Risa and Superintendent of Riverview Schools. And it's such a pleasure to be able to have dialogue with both of you in regards to our educational system. I tell people all the time, there's no competing against each other. All it is trying to make sure that we're competing with ourselves to become better as we kind of, push forward. But one of the things I wanted to kind of ask both of you is, what is your thoughts on the way our educational system is set up for people that want to go and be teachers and be paraprofessionals? I mean, are you finding that we have less opportunities out here, and what is it that we can do to present more opportunities to our community?
So through funding provided by the state of Michigan, Wayne Risa through regional assistant grants, there's a Grow Your Own program. So it gives districts an opportunity to invest in people who would like to go back to school to become educators.
Okay.
I think we also have to address the root cause of it, which is, I don't think it's compensation, because teachers are highly compensated. The higher the degree attainment. If you are a teacher in the state of Michigan, in many of our districts, you're almost approaching six figures at the top of the pay scale.
Right.
So it's not that we're asking them to take an oath of poverty. I don't believe that the profession has been made attractive because you're only hearing the negative stories.
Okay.
When you watch videos,
Right. That's true.
it'll look like the profession is under attack. There have always been challenges. I don't care what decade you've been in. And so how do we do a better job of being storytellers? Because there are phenomenal things that happened every day, these celebrations. If people could come watch kindergarten children, or just on any given day in any building, 90% of what's going on is positive.
Right.
So I think that if we can do a better job of narrating the positives about the profession,
Okay.
enlightening people about not only the opportunities or the pathways that will allow them for certification if they do it post-college or as they're doing degree completion, but teachers make great money, and there are perks to it. They're off several months during the summer, 2 weeks at Christmas. There are multiple one-week breaks, during the course of the year.
Correct.
So we just have to do a better job as an institution of highlighting why it makes sense for them to choose education.
Okay. Dr. Colbert?
Absolutely. I would definitely agree. And I'll say that is what my staycation turned into. It really was a call to action for me, not realizing that I wanted or that I even needed to do something differently. I thought that I was going to go ahead and continue in that accounting profession as I was making my transition to law school. My goal was to become an attorney and then a federal judge. That's what I thought I was going to do. And yet, that 1 week in a Detroit public school changed my life and really decided that, really helped me to shape and then make the decision that purpose-driven leadership, and my purpose was not the pushing the paper and or defending, whichever way I was going. I'd rather not say right now in terms of representing, those clients. It was really more to make a difference in the life. So, I wanted to be the change that I wanted to see in the world, as a play on what Mahatma Gandhi said. And so I'll share that to say that as you shared kindergarten rooms, pre-K rooms, but then let's just talk about pre-K through 12. I had the opportunity last Monday, March is Reading Month, to spend a half day in in 2 districts in a community inside of Wayne County, one in a local education agency, so one in a traditional public school, and then I went to a public school academy
Right.
and read to a 3rd grade classroom and then a kindergarten classroom. And I'll say that those are the days that really, really keep me going. The classroom that I read in, that was a kindergarten classroom, is a candidate who was part of a Grow Your Own program, who at one time worked at Wayne Risa as an
Wow.
administrative assistant.
Okay.
And she served her time, presented her resignation, and then said, I'm going back to the classroom. And she's part of this Grow Your Own now because it makes sense.
Right.
She can do it. So the affordability when that barrier has been removed. So Grow Your Own funding is across the state. Michigan has Talent Together as one option for Grow Your Own. Wayne Reason itself has the dollars that are funded through the Regional Assistant Grant where districts are able to have their own embedded Grow Your Owns inside of districts. And then we also at Wayne Reese are offering a Grow Your Own opportunity that is fulfilling our highest need of special education classrooms.
Right.
So some of the highest needs even in special education, like cognitively impaired and or autism spectrum disorder. We'll have our first graduation in April of our first cohort that is connected to Eastern Michigan University. And these are paraeducators who have now transitioned and are in classrooms, are serving in classrooms right now, and who will be walking across the stage with their certification. How amazing is that? They will have now finished their degree and are now ready to take the test to earn their certification. There are many alt education route programs that are out here. And so I would encourage anyone that is really interested in making a difference, leading their dash, meeting that dash between birth and, that last
That's
day.
true.
But leading that dash and being purpose-driven to really consider joining the education profession. The opportunity is real. And, as Dr. Coleman spoke, the stories that are painted in some cases aren't always the right stories. But what I tell people is when pressure arrives and your passion is clear, you lead anyway. So come on and join us in education.
That is so true. Go
And
ahead.
not
sir.
to cut you off if
Yeah,
I
no,
may.
no, go right ahead.
And this is a national crisis. So
Correct.
it's not just in the state of Michigan. Nationally, there's a national teacher shortage. But as she just said, there's an opportunity in crisis.
Right.
So we have opportunities throughout this state. I'm not just advocating for River Rouge. I want to see every classroom in every district filled with highly qualified teachers. So if there's anyone out there that has any interest, contact your local district because there are means to help that become a reality.
Yeah, that is so true. And one of the things that we talk about so much in our district is that we train to retain. We give our teachers an opportunity to understand their areas of growth. And that's what's vitally important when you start talking about educating, and especially educating in our community. Our communities sometimes have a lack of professional development that should go on more than just the professional development that we provide for them throughout the school year. Kind of talk to me about some of the things that just makes your staff so outstanding when it comes to educating our children and stuff.
So for me, again, I operate or work in a community that there's no aesthetically pleasing way to get into River Rouge. You're surrounded by industry.
Right.
So if you come in off of Schaefer, there are parts of Schaefer that look like a bomb dropped on it.
Okay.
To our east is Del Rey, and to the south of where we are is industry. And so for people who have made a conscious decision to come work in a place where there's an incredible need. Again, I service 38 different zip codes. So these children are coming from all over the metropolitan area. And people are like, well, you're stealing our kids. No, we're giving them an opportunity and we're sending them back to your community. We have invested heavily in being able to address many of the issues that you'll see children enter into a school district with. But I don't want to make this exclusively about poverty, because children who come from middle income, higher income communities deal with abuse, neglect, and household dysfunction.
That's true.
And so the teachers, the support staff, the volunteers, anybody that works in River Rouge has basically made a commitment to say that I support being the difference. that purpose is an incredible alarm clock. On days when I don't feel like coming, I'm going because I know these children need me. And so I'm grateful for those people. You know, we celebrate them at every board meeting. We have these beginning of the year, middle of the year, and end of the year celebrations. You want to celebrate it because it is hard work. And we talk about anything that you want to accomplish in life is going to be difficult. If you have a physical fitness goal, going to the gym is painful, but at the end of it, you feel better.
That's right.
Getting up, coming in, committing to people is hard work, but you feel better every day. You should go home exhausted.
Right.
But the beauty of it is you get to do it all over again the next day.
That is so true.
And I would just echo what Dr. Coleman has said and really just add that for me and to make sure that even the team that I lead, but even all of the teams that I work with across the county that I encounter on day to day, you know, whether, again, sometimes people are coming because they want clarity around policy. Sometimes they're coming because they need support around funding. Sometimes they're coming because, again, you know, it's the reality of we still need to continue to improve outcomes. And so continuous improvement is always part of the cycle. The truth is, all of it comes together when you have clarity of vision, when you own. You know, you have to have ownership around this. This
Now,
is
that
a
is
space
true.
that we must
Yes.
own it.
We
We have
must.
to own what we're doing. This work is real. It's not hard work. It's hard work, and then it turns into hard work when you really are about the hard work. But you must own it because this is not something that we take lightly. I don't want just bodies, just people breathing, guiding children.
Right,
We
that's true.
need people who really care about guiding, directing, and pouring into facilitating high quality learning. So we need the right people in front of our young people. So we must take care of those that are being entrusted with the families and our communities that have entrusted us. And so with that, we must be about intentional joy. Again, we must have clarity of vision. That ownership is key, helping people understand how to regulate in times of pressure, you know, in times of controversy. How do you regulate, and then how do you continue to execute? And it is important to evaluate all that we are inspecting and expecting.
Wow.
And let's continue to be resilient around this work.
Yeah, that is so true. You know, we tend to not realize that the hardest work that we do comes with a lot of joy at the end of the day. You know, you might be tired, you know, you might have a sense of like, wow, you know, why am I doing this? But at the end of the day, you find out that it's for the betterment of the community. Would either one of you have any recommendations to the educators that watch this program, or and also parents, that we could kind of deliver out to them to make them see the direction that we're going in is right?
Well, what I would say is, you know, my mom always said faith. You know, you have to have faith, but then you also have to do the work. So you just can't faith and then sit on your hands. What I would encourage students, families, educators to continue to do is remember that education is key and it does unlock the door. And that when you find a caring community that you can connect to, a caring school community, be sure to go and be a part of the community. Don't just send your students. Educators, just don't go to work. Become a part of the entire school community. Because again, pressure always will remain loud. Passion, as long as it is clear, you will be able to lead through anything.
Wow, Dr. Coleman?
Listen, she could have dropped the mic after that.
Right.
I concur with what she said. And just, you know, what we're more concerned with than anything is outcomes.
Okay.
School is designed, schools are doing the greatest job that is ever done in the history of this country, because never at any point in time has there been an expectation that so many people would matriculate to higher education. I can only tell you that for me, outcomes matter. I'm not trying to send every child to college. I want to make certain that every child that enters my doors is able to pursue their passion, be able to monetize that, and leave healthy. So I want college, but if college is not their most natural path, how do you figure out what they're passionate about and then help them turn that into their purpose, so that at the end of the day they can take care of their families.
Right. Wow. I tell you what, this has been just a fabulous opportunity to sit with two the most respected superintendents in the state of Michigan. And I do now understand clearly why you guys are friends, because your passion speaks. And I just want to thank you both for coming out here on the Evans Effect and kind of talking to us about why education matters. And with that, I would just say, have a good afternoon, and we'll talk to you on the next segment. Thank you.
Okay.
We're good. All right.
So
Wow.
that's it?
That's it.
Oh,
That's it
okay.
For the first.
Oh, for the first
That's
segment.
what I thought.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
that's
I
what I
got it.
thought.
I got it. That's right.
Before your
That's
time,
right.
There was a
That's
45
right.
and
That's
they had
right.
a
That's right.
second version on the one side, and another version.
That's right.
B-side.
I was like, wait, I was trying. I was like, oh, we did that.
Yeah.
Side B.
Okay. All right. That was good. Good stuff. Oh, really good.
So now, how
And
long?
then they'll come. No, I'm not taking you. Fine.
You good? How long is are we going still 2:13 minutes?
13.
Okay.
Okay,
So
2:13.
you
All right. What's the second session
Huh?
about?
Changing?
I can change ties right quick.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let me
Oh,
just-
now this is a whole
No,
lot.
no, you
went-
really don't have to.
Wait a minute. Yeah, because it's
Take
Take my
other.
jacket off.
It's the same
No, we're in the
people.
same thing. Yeah,
It's the
right.
same
You say
people.
my offense is
Right.
a 2 second.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
It's the
okay,
You
same
do it on
people.
Kim's.
okay, yeah.
He's ready though. He's doing
Wait a minute, but I'm
5
like,
seconds.
he changing the we
Like
now.
Superman.
Right.
Right, that's true.
Makes no
Doing the
sense
Steve,
right now.
doing the
Yeah.
Steve Harvey
Yeah,
here.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Exactly. They're gonna be like, wait, they slept over
Yeah, it'd be like,
So,
They never left.
clothes.
like they forgot to tell him to bring some
The
clothes.
whole
Yeah.
never changed. He didn't ever left.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so what's the second segment about?
so the second segment, I want to kind of, speak about the early childhood.
Oh yeah, let's go. Early childhood. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then, I also would like for you to kind of elaborate a little more on the special education
Okay.
portion of in Michigan, how you're, taking a very in-depth look at all of the proper protocols that's needed for kids to continue to.
I don't know why we would be talking about that. Are you sure that's what you might need?
Well-
You need another topic.
Okay, so do
that
you
don't
want
sound right.
to talk about why it's
that don't sound
so
right.
important to push early